Welcome back to the vlog. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be off at Capital Casino playing a little 1-3 $500 match to stack. But before we go, I just want to say congratulations to Tony Y. He's a local poker player and also a friend of the vlog. He happened to hit a big score over at Thunder Valley on one of the WPT events. Ended up with a 5-way chop, and it was a nice payout. So congratulations, Tony. The only problem is once those chips get into Tony's stacks, no one's going to wrestle them away from him. Just a reminder, we're going to be having our meetup game at Lucky Chances Casino this Thursday. Start time is 3 p.m. There is going to be some swag bags to be given away, and the first 25 players who get there will get the swag bag. I also have some extra Zeus chip protectors if you are interested. I'm bringing more than 25, so if you're not in the top 25, I still got you covered. We jump into a 1-3 game with $500 in our stack. Sit around for about 15-20 minutes without playing anything until we find pair of fives under the gun +1, open to raise a 15. We end up getting 3 callers for the 15. So we're going to go to the flop 4 ways with $63 in the pot. And the flop comes out, you guessed it, King 10-4, 2 spades. No help for us. 3 other opponents, we're just giving up here. I check it. It ends up getting checked around. So there's a little gleam of life. I don't think anyone has a king, and probably they don't even have a 10. Turn card comes is pretty good. It's a 10 of diamonds. So if they don't have a king and they don't have a 10, I probably have the best hand. Need to protect it. I bet out $40. They think for a little bit, and they let their hands go. So we get this one through. We might have had the best hand anyway. There is a $6 straddle, and we get 1 limper, and I look down at 2 black aces on the button. Yes, indeed, we're going to be raising this. Make it 26. I'm trying to get a little action from the player in the big blind. He's been very sticky and very active, so I want him involved. He comes along, so does the initial straddler, and the limper also puts in the call. So we're going to go 4 ways to this flop with $105 in the pot. Just looking for a dry flop, and it's not quite dry. It comes queen 8-4 with 2 clubs. Not only that, any card below a queen and above a 4 that doesn't pair the 8 will make a possible straight, and so there is some trouble out there, especially with 3 other opponents. I decided to go a little bit on the larger size. I figure if there's a player that had a queen, they would come along. I just didn't want to give a cheap draw to someone with a gut shot or a flush draw. Really hoping to get the action from the player in the big blind. As I said, he's been very sticky and very active. So if he has a queen, I think he's coming. If he has any kind of flush draw, he's coming. He might even come with second pair or third pair. After thinking for a while, he just decides to let it go. The other players just quickly folded their hands. I've been trying to experiment with larger sizings on my C bets and also on my follow-up bets. So this one, I kind of lost a little action. Okay, it's bomb pot time. But before we get going, I got to tell you about some of the table talk. When everyone was talking about doing a bomb pot, there was a couple viewers that mentioned that I don't like them and that I only play the nuts when I do play them. And so I got inspired, and this is what happened. So we're having a 6-way bomb pot. Everyone put up $15, so there's $90 in the pot. And it's sort of short-handed, so there's not too much to worry about with the number of players. Flop comes out king, queen, 10 with the queen 10 of hearts. Action ends up getting checked to me, and I peek down at my hand, and I have an 8 of hearts, and I go, oh, I might have a flush draw. Let's look at the other one, and I saw a 6. With the way the table talk was going before this, I decided, well, this is a perfect opportunity. Everyone showed weakness, and what the hell, let's go for it. So I lead out for $40. I only get 1 caller from a player at the other end of the table who is someone I actually have a pretty good read on. Turn card comes as a deuce of hearts, and he checks it over to me again. I figure, okay, I picked up a flush draw with my pair draw. Might as well bet this thing. And I'm pretty sure that he has a hand something like with a jack in it. I think he has a straight draw. I bet out for $70. And he thinks for a while before finally putting in the call. Now, I'm sure I can blow him off this as long as it doesn't come with a 9 or an ace. And if it comes with a heart, I'll just check it down for my showdown value. The river card comes as a 5 of spades. He checks again. I decided 8 high is probably not the best hand right here. So let's go for it. And I fire the third barrel for $215. He basically snap folds, and I take down the pot. But really, this was a punt in the making. It shouldn't be playing like this, but I couldn't resist the opportunity. I got 2 sevens in middle position. I tried to raise to 15, but one of the chips got stuck on my finger and fell down short of the line. So it only counted as a $10 raise or $10 open. And so I got a lot of action. We get 4 callers. So we're going to end up going 5 ways to the flop with $54 in the pot. Flop comes out King 10-3, reminiscent of that first hand where it comes King 10-4, but this time it's rainbow with 4 other players. I'm going to check and give up if anyone puts in any action, and it ends up getting checked around. And sure enough, a 10 of diamonds comes on the turn just like that first hand, and I go, this is the same exact hand. Let's go ahead and bet half pot. I bet 25. But this time I end up getting 2 callers. So since there's no flush draw available, the hands I have to worry about are a 10 and a straight draw. So Queen Jack is definitely out there, Ace Jack, Ace Queen, even stuff like Queen 9 or Jack 9 might be there. And of course someone might have a 10. But we're going to go get to see a river card, and if a blank hits, I'm going to really like my hand. I'll probably check call, hoping somebody will bluff at it. But the river card comes as a jack of spades. So all those straight draws made at least a pair of jacks, if not a straight. First player checked it to me. I'm definitely going to just check this back. I'm not going to turn my hand into a bluff when someone's obviously going to have at least a pair of jacks. Person in the big blind turned over ace jack, so we got rivered and we move on. After an early position limp, a player raised to 18 and it's folded around to me. I'm in the big blind. I'm going to defend for the extra $15, and we're going to go 4 ways to this flop with $72 in the pot. Flop comes out ace 3 deuce rainbow. So we got a gutter and we got a pair. This is something I put in my check calling range depending on the size of the bet and who's betting. It gets checked to the initial aggressor. He puts out a bet for $30. And I played a lot with him. He would definitely c-bet his entire range. So I'm going to call and evaluate the turn. Turn card comes as a deuce. I check it to him and he checks it right back. So he's either pot controlling, or he might have a pair bigger than mine, or he might just have air. So 3 of diamonds on the end does nothing. I'm going to check and probably call a reasonable bet. He checks behind. I show my 5s and he says it's good. He knew I had aces in my check calling range, so he wasn't willing to take another stab at this pot. We pick up aces again against another $6 straddle. We had 1 limper, we raised to 26, and everyone seemed to fold, so no action on these aces. So I was up over $500, took a little break, came back down to a different table later on and picked up ace-king suited on the button. I put in a raise to 25. I get 1 caller from the player in the big blind. So we're going to go heads up to a flop with 63 in. Flop comes down good and bad. So comes with an ace and a king, but it also comes with a 9, and they're all spades. He checks the hand over to me, and I'm going to do my standard c-bet, about 1/3 pot. And he takes a peek back at his hand, doing a little spade check, and realizes he doesn't have one, so he lets his hand go, and we win this little teeny pot. I've been card dead for quite a while, and I finally looked down at 2 10s in a small blind. The very active player from the low jack opened for a raise to $10, and the player on the button puts in the call. I decided to go ahead and squeeze with 2 10s. I think I'm way ahead of their range. He's been playing just about every single hand, and I make it $50. He actually puts in the call, and the player on the button puts in the fold. So I'm thinking he has some sort of real hand this time, because I would get some respect from a raise to $50 after not playing too many hands. So thinking some big cards, maybe some middling pairs. And the flop comes out 8-5-5. So there's no flush draws out there. I decided to bet an amount that would charge overcards like ace king and ace queen the wrong price to continue. If he wanted to gamble, I'll let him gamble. Now, as he's tanking, I'm thinking that he has a lot to think about, I don't think he'd be doing this with just overcards, so I'm thinking maybe more like medium-sized pocket pairs is coming to my mind. He does put in the call, and we get to see a turn card of a 7 spades. I was watching him closely, he didn't seem to react to it, so I don't think the 7 hit him, and I'm thinking that he probably has something like pocket 9s, 10s, jacks. So I really want to put him to the test if he has pocket 9s, and maybe he would lay down pocket jacks. And it's always a battle trying to figure out whether you should pot control or whether you should be aggressive and protect your equity. I decided to be aggressive and to protect my equity, and I put out a healthy size bet. And I don't know if this is the right thing. Maybe I should try to pot control because he could be calling with jacks and he's not going to fold that. But I really want him to pay if he had 9s, if he was drawing. So he doesn't think too long and puts in the call, and then we see a 9 of spades on the river. So everything's beating me. If he had pocket 6s, he has me beat 9s, 7s, 8s. I figured if he bets, I'm going to be folding. If he checks, he's probably going to show me pocket jacks. Anyway, he thinks for another long period of time, and I'm already given up. I can't call any bets, and I'm pretty sure if he turns over his hand, he's going to show me jacks. Anyway, after a while, he does turn over his hand, and he had pocket queens. So I get owned on this one, kind of overplayed my hand. I switch tables again where I am completely card dead for probably an hour and a half. And this is the best hand I've seen in a while, and there's lots of action going on, and I just figure with my tight image, I'm just going to try to steal this thing. Straddle pot, one caller to my right. I put in a raise to 30. Everybody seems to fold out. The player to my right says, "Why so big?" And I'm just happy to win a pot. So shortly after that hand, I look down at ace queen offsuit. The player to my right opens for 15. I put in the raise to 55, trying to isolate, and I think I have a better hand. Just the player to my right ends up putting in the call. So we're going to go heads up to a flop with $120 in the pot. Looking for something favorable, and we get Jack 10 6 with 2 hearts. So we do have the Queen of Hearts. That's not great, especially when the player decides to lead into us for $55. 2 overcards, backdoor flush draw, and a gut shot straight draw. I don't think I can go anywhere, so I put in the call for the 55. And we're going to go heads up to the turn. And as Alex of Wolfgang Poker would say, bang, we caught the king of clubs. Oh, how sweet it is. We finally made a freaking hand. And I try to decide on a size that would get me some action, yet get some more money in the pot. I figure for 105, they would put in the call, and I would have the perfect pot to stack ratio or stack to pot ratio or any kind of ratio you want to think to get the rest of my chips in on the river. They quickly put in the call, and we see a river card of a ace of clubs. Not a good river card. It does put up the flush, which I'm not really worried about, but it will be awfully difficult to try to get any more value out of this player. I'm trying to think, okay, the pot's around $450. If I put out about 150, maybe they'll put in a crying call, getting very good pot odds. And so I decided on 160. And they go into the tank and were in there for a long, long time before they finally said, all right, nice hand, I call. I never did see their hand, but in my mind I was thinking they might have something like ace jack of hearts with 2 pair, and we're putting in a crying call in case I had something like king jack. But it was nice to win a pot. As I said, this is the second hand I played at this table. And after this, I was card dead for another hour or so and finally left the game. So after all the ups and downs, we ended up with $520 more than we started with. This is Zeus's favorite time of year. He gets to go play in the snow, and he also gets to play with some gifts that he gets for Christmas. Here he is last year with a bunch of gifts, and he also likes to greet strangers coming to our front door delivering presents.
Oh shit. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Holy shit.
And after a hard day of greeting strangers, Zeus also enjoys a nice nap in bed with his favorite stuffed animal. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget, Meetup Games this Thursday. I expect you all to be there. Excited about working with Chuck Race Charles and Andrew Locke and Lucky Chances Casino again. Please come by. Starts at 3 o'clock. It's going to be a 3-3 no limit game.